the big one. It's clear that he's not ambitious in this game, right? He can't be. Compare everything on the board. You've got this big pawn chain that white has established with the strong one on d5, giving white a lot of space. The rook on the open e line is targeting the e7 pawn. If black tries to open up with pushing that e pawn forward, it will result in a lot of weaknesses in his camp. Daniil, how does he break free in this position? White, meanwhile, can put the queen on d4, a nice centralized square. At some point, try and push the h-pawn. Perhaps do a rook lift, double up on the e-file. I'm looking at all this position, finding all the plans for white. How does black manage it? What are black's plans here?
This is pretty standard for accelerated dragon positions, and generally it is said that having only major pieces on the board, so just the queens and the rooks, is very good for white. So Magnus is looking really comfortable, and all the ideas that you've said is exactly how he should be playing. I feel to go h4, h5, alpha 0 style, and getting the rooks on the e line, playing queen d4 check, putting pressure on the e7 pawn. Maybe you can also push h6 as well, just like how, again, I'm gonna remember Vishy sir here, because in every game whenever h4 h5 happens, he gets really happy, and yeah, it looks really comfortable for Magnus here.
You say Alpha 0, but it's Alpha Magnus in this tournament. He's got a 1.5 point lead right now, and he's the one putting pressure. And to many of us, this position might look very, very balanced. But this is really a nightmare position to play against Magnus. It's the kind where he can do everything, slowly improve, keep grinding, keep putting the pressure, slowly massaging his opponent's weaknesses. And yes, you can keep the balance till a certain point, but how many times have we seen his opponents collapse, 50 moves later?
I don't think it's going to be a 50-move game, because it looks very hard for the board.
pawn. He's also thinking about the idea of perhaps trying to defend that pawn from queening, because yes, you can think about g6, but you could also simply get the rook into the defense. You know, from rook b7 or b8 to that h file as you're nicely drawing it out with the arrows. And that just feels like simpler to me. Doesn't require calculation. Or will Magnus go for a more direct pawn push? Push karo, khush raho.
I believe when in doubt, just follow the basic principles of chess. You know, rooks should be behind pass pawns. Whether it's your pass pawn, whether it's your opponent's pass pawn, they should just be behind pass pawn. And he does exactly that, yeah? He goes rook to b8 and he's just aiming to go rook h8. You know, he knows this position is winning. And I think with this win, he already seals the deal. Tanya, this is amazing. 1 round to spare. 6 wins technically in a row.
Some might argue he sealed the deal when he arrived in Kolkata. King to e5 played, and you can see it on Dubov that he knows there's nothing to be done here. It's sort of just making hand moves right now. Magnus can pick up the h4 pawn, give up the g5 pawn, and the king on the left side will assist that a pawn to victory.
Yup, and I think this is virtually over. You go rook h4, king takes g5, and this a pawn is going to seal the deal for Magnus here. And also, you know, the clocks do not help Dubov's case at all.
He's going to now come back and perhaps put the rook behind his pass pawn. And he comes back to h3. Ooh. But there's a little bit of an interesting moment. I saw the bar go down a bit, but doesn't matter. f3, and now the king moves forward. And I'm expecting Dubov to throw in the towel.
Yep.
A6?
I think he was going to push a6, push karo, khush raho.
Push him, baby, as Yasser Saravan says. It's handshakes. Magnus Carlsen has done it. He is the Tata Steel Chess India Rapid Champion. 1 round to spare. He drew the games, went on to win every single game after that. Back-to-back victories. He's the man of the moment right now, and he knows it.
Wow. And, you know, with a 2-point deficit, like he's up by 2 points, you know, with the rest of the field.